Are we live? We are live. Dave, so nice to see you. How's it going?
Kia ora. Good morning, Daniel. How are you doing? Well, good evening for you.
Yeah, I'm good. I am very happy because I was under the weather, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm better. I can, and I was really afraid that I wouldn't get better before going on my trip tomorrow. I can totally tell you all
Yep.
about my trip tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
And that would have been an absolute bummer. But before I
Well,
tell you about the trip, hey, listener, welcome to Waiting for Review, a show about the majestic about the majestic indie developer lifestyle. Join your scintillating hosts, Dave and Daniel, and let's hear about a tiny slice of their thrilling lives. Join us while waiting for review.
hey.
Starting with a wave today.
Excellent.
Yeah, I am going to go to Barcelona tomorrow.
Ooh.
And it's like a really expensive trip because shortly before Christmas, I was thinking I should really do something just for myself. Like a lot of the things I do it for others or to make others happy or like for like my group, like my family or whatever, or my friends or whatever. And so I was like, I want to do something that's just for me. And I bought myself a ticket for the Formula One Grand Prix in Barcelona.
Hey.
Like I did a lot of research, of course. First, I was like, okay, I want to go to a Formula One race. I've never been to a Formula One race, but I really want to go. I'm really into motorsports, and I so want to see that. And so I was thinking, like, where should I go? And there's like a lot of, especially in Europe, they have a lot of different racetracks. And I was thinking about which other racetracks that I like, which are mostly like Belgium, Austria, and Spain, and Hungary. Yeah. But also like which ones are easily accessible, and especially Hungary is apparently is very hard to get to because like they have bad shuttle buses. Same with Italy, same with Belgium, and then Austria is good to get to, but there's no hotels because it's just like in the mountains basically.
Right.
And so Barcelona it was, and I asked a friend. I've asked a few friends, but they also all didn't have time. So I'm going alone, and it's so cool. But then last week I got ill. I still don't know what it is. I did have a sore throat, and I was very exhausted. So, and it kind of like, I don't know, headaches and stuff like that. But like still, I did like daily COVID tests, and they were all negative. So I still isolated and just like took it very easily. And luckily I'm just about ish recovered. Like I don't feel like 100%, but I feel good enough to be like, okay, I can do this trip. And I'm really happy about that because, I would have been so mad. I would have been so mad. Like they would like not only about the money that I'm losing because like you're not getting any of that back.
No.
But also just about the missed opportunity. Like I've been looking forward to this trip for half a year, and just throwing it away at the last second would have been so shitty.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing pictures and potentially videos. Hey,
totally. All the video. Like I'm gonna take so much content.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just had to wrangle with the check-in website for the for the flight, because the flight is tomorrow evening my time, so it's basically in 24 hours, which is way later than I usually fly, but it was cheaper. And now recently I've realized, because I arrived so late, I probably have to get a taxi instead of getting public transport, so I'm gonna pay extra for that. So all the savings that I made, I completely like I should have thought better. The other thing is I booked a flight with a very cheap airline. I booked with Vueling, which is the Spanish Ryanair basically.
Right.
And I was just completely unable to check in with their website. Like I tried it on my phone and it was like completely unusable. So I went to my computer, and then it allows you to select a seat. And then I already selected a seat when I booked the thing. So it kind of is like, but where do you want to sit? Oh, you want to select a seat? Oh, of course, that's just like $45 extra.
Yeah. I selected a seat when I bought this ticket. What are you doing?
Actually, it turns out if you don't select a seat, you do get your pre-selected seat. It's just like a horribly dark UI. And then it kind of just crashes. It's like the next screen is just like, how do you want to pay? And like, because I didn't select a seat, it doesn't have anything for me to pay. And the browser console just says like, oh yeah, the server returned a 400 bet request. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this with different browsers. And like I have like Microsoft Edge, which I use for like but without any content blockers or whatever. Doesn't make a difference. So finally I made it.
Yikes.
I managed to open the same screen in the app that they have. I downloaded the app, and there was a tiny note at the top that said, you need to pay for minus €11. And I'm like, does that mean like you owe me €11 or whatever?
Yeah.
And then the button says, oh yeah, let's enter your credit card details. And I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna enter that credit card details. I want to check in and whatever. And so it says like, credit card number, expiration, like name of the owner, expiration date. And it also has a drop down for type of credit card. So usually it autofills that thing because it can tell from the number, but it didn't autofill the thing. Instead, I tapped on it, a new screen opens with a list of credit cards, and the screen is just empty. And it's like, just tapping the empty screen up. No, nothing's getting selected. So I tap back. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to leave it empty, see what happens. And then it says like, no, you got to fill in this field. This is a required field.
What?
And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, okay, we're recording in 15 minutes. I would really like to have a boarding pass for my flight. And I'm like, just piling regret upon regret for this flight. I kind of noodled around with it for a while, and then suddenly the note just went away, and it didn't want minus €11 from me anymore.
Okay.
And then it said, oh, you are now checked in. Would you like to download your boarding passes? So now I have boarding passes for both the flights there and the flight back in my Apple Wallet. And we'll hopefully never have to open the stupid app again.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
I'm already half packed. So I have my Lewis Hamilton t-shirt, of course. I have a hat, just because the sun is going to be horrible.
When you say Lewis Hamilton t-shirt, is that like his face on a big blown up thing or what?
No.
Number one fan.
Like his kind of colors is like he has like this very, very neon yellow color sometimes. Okay. And so it is a one of those functional shirts, like that footballers wear. Okay. So very breathable in that neon color, and then just has a big black letters that has the number 44, which is his race number. And that's kind of nice. And I kind of bought it because usually these things, I'm like, I cannot wear this in real life. Like this is just like something I'm going to wear once to that event and then never again, right? But this, because it has this this very sporty fabric, I can totally see myself wearing that while bicycling. So that's why I'm like, yeah, of course I needed to buy that, right?
Absolutely. I've added a note to our show notes saying Daniel needs to link a photo in the Lewis Hamilton shirt. Okay, so
like, do we have a follow-up list of things? Because like basically next episode, I can then add a photo.
It'll be in the notes. So if you don't get to give me a link to you wearing the shirt before I upload this, then we can certainly cover it off next time.
Fair. But, very good.
Yes. Sorry, Daniel. Obliging you to take a photograph in said neon t-shirt.
I just have to find the perfect spot to sit and or stand so that the TV cameras will pick me up, so I don't have to take the pictures myself.
Cunning plan. But
yes, if you are someone who watches this and you see me on the telly, like, do take a screenshot.
No, I was thinking you could You could get a photograph, Daniel, and do it for the gram. Put it on the Instagrams.
Obviously.
Obviously.
No, I'm totally gonna spam the gram.
I've been on the gram a lot lately, actually.
Uh-huh.
And spending a fair bit of time putting the odd video of my app and stuff on there.
Fantastic. Are you also getting follow requests by accounts that are named a lot of young women?
Kinda, but I tend to just report reject because I'm like,
but that was the
go.
best name. Like, a lot of young women want to follow you. Like, I mean, good for them, I guess. But
yeah, but no, yeah, occasionally get some of those. It's not too bad actually for bots. My experience of Instagram is certainly not as bad as I remember Twitter was when I was using that a lot. But yeah, I'm kind of crowbarring our conversation towards it because Instagram is where I recently caught up with a customer of GoVJ, a user of the app. So yeah, I'm just trying to track whether I mentioned it at all on the last show because it was kind of lined up and ready when we last spoke. But anyway, the view of what happened is that this person tagged my Instagram account for GoVJ for my apps in one of their videos, and I'm like, oh, sweet, let's have a look. They were using GoVJ to put on a art installation.
yeah, you've sent me a few images. That is fantastic.
Yeah. So they're a visual artist. They do a lot of drawing work, a lot of like skate inspired and themed artwork as well. So a lot of like big, bold lines and that sort of stuff. And what she'd done is as part of, I think, a university project, she'd made a bunch of video loops with her artwork, loaded them into GoVJ, and then put it on a plinth in the middle of this room for the installation, with a big TV opposite, and then with music playing, let the audience come in and mix her artwork with my app.
That is so cool. How did that make you feel?
Pretty stoked, to be honest. Like, yeah. I have a thing, like when I release a new version of the app, like I generally tend to feel glad it's just out the way, right? Like rather than, yay, I've really achieved a thing. It's more like, oh, I'm glad that's over. And for me, like I get the most satisfaction out of customer feedback and those sort of moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely classified as one of those moments where I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Really great to see it in use. Yeah, so I messaged her because I'm like, yeah, that's really, really cool. Love to see it. Thank you. I got a couple of messages back and I'm like, I keep meaning to find out more about how people are using the app anyway. So, I just sort of said, I'm trying to find out more about this sort of thing. Would you have some time to have a call? And we did a call through Instagram, actually, through its video chat about a week later. Wow. So, yeah, just last week. Yeah, so I've been doing this on and off for the last few months, really. I've spoken to another GoVJ user who was based in New York, and he uses it in a completely different way for his live video work. But yeah, I'm trying this out for size, Daniel, in a sense of sort of going for really direct user customer feedback and actually finding out, well, okay, how are you using this app? Where does it fit into what you're doing? Because the arena for this, if you like, is pretty wide. You know, like there's the niche of what it does, and then in terms of the type of artwork, the type of performances people are putting on, it's quite variable. So,
and so what did you learn?
I learned a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I learned about how the app was easy for people to use in a way that I might not have predicted. I sort of always assume you need a bit of prior VJ knowledge. And she was saying the audience really got into it. She had like instructions on the plinth of like, this press this button for loading the videos, press this for effects, sort of thing to guide people. But I don't think it really needed it, which is good.
That's nice.
I also found that for her, some of the base principles of VJing and the art form itself were sort of pretty new, because she's mainly sort of been used to putting together collages, her own drawn artwork, and that getting into then animating it is something I think she'd done for online purposes and to explore that end. So then actually pulling it together and doing a live video performance was new. And that then leads sort of tangentially into one of the things I'm going to prioritize for my users and my customers is I'm actually going to put together some short videos on how to use it, how to get X, Y, or Z effect, sort of considerations you need to think about when setting a show up, which is, it's kind of funny. It's all beyond actually making the app. It's now into more like, so you want to be a VJ, huh? Kind of that sort of element of like, and then helping people who are at that moment who are going, yeah, I do, tell me. Like she did admirably. She certainly didn't need that sort of help from me, but I can sort of see from the conversation we had that, yeah, there's definitely a bit there that could be more helpful. So
very nice. Like, how did she even think of, because if you say like she's not usually a VJ, or she's usually not thinking about VJing, like how did she even think about I should do a VJ thing?
I honestly don't know. That was
VJ
part of
plinth.
Yeah. In fact, I'm just going to have a quick look at my notes from the call. And yeah, we didn't really land on that so much, but she's incredibly creative. And I think being into the skate scene and that side of stuff as well, like there's a sort of blurred line of seeing some of this sort of artwork around the music and the rest of it that sort of follows some of the things that she's into at a guess. But I think the idea for the plinth and that sort of stuff, it was fairly organic. She said they had some of these things for displaying some of your art, and I think it had then sort of gone from being like, well, if I was going to do it visually with a video, then we could maybe combine these two areas and use the plinth in this sort of a way. But yeah, it was eye-opening just for me in terms of like a whole bunch of stuff. So being at a university, they had iPads that were available to be used for this, which is great. But actually getting the app onto it was a bit tricky as well, because I think they're using like Apple School Manager and that sort of stuff to put apps on, probably in the primary year. And what it meant was that she couldn't use the full version of the app. She was able to get it on there in freemium with a watermark, but not upgrade to the full. So that was also another aspect of this. The app was pretty damn usable just with the paywall in the way and the watermark showing. Like the watermark's actually quite subtle on the big screen, which I feel like I might want to close that door a little bit and nudge people a bit more. But I'm glad it was good for her.
Back in the old days when every single video on YouTube was like had like this watermarked unregistered copy of, I don't know even what it was, but you know what I mean? After some video cutting thing or whatever.
Yep.
No.
The thing that was quite fun though as well was that the themes that I added to the app for version 3. So prior to version 3, you only had the blue accented UI, so like a neon blue on a dark background. Now you can choose. There's a whole bunch of different themes. She'd chosen the hot pink one, and what it meant was on the watermark, the background of the bit that says GoVJ free version or whatever on the output, the background actually changes itself to the accent color, so it kind of looked themed as well for the setup.
Very nice.
Yeah, there's part of me that was like, oh god, yeah, the app is far too usable for people to use for free. I'm being too subtle about this, and sort of kicking myself. And then the other part of me was like, well, yeah, but also this enabled a show that just wasn't going to happen otherwise, right?
Right.
So, which brings me to another thing. I've had an inquiry from a educational establishment in your country, actually, Daniel, in Germany, about, can I do an educational discount on the app?
What do they want to teach?
Yeah, I know. So it'll be some sort of like visual arts type thing in a similar sort of vein.
I can see that.
Yeah, so this is where having a subscription based and in-app purchase based app is kind of to my detriment. I can't offer anything to those establishments today. So I think that is actually going to be another thing that I try and solve off the back of this. Like, I want to make sure that if this does come up again, there is a route for these managed devices in educational environments, because I think that would actually be quite cool.
How would that route look like? Like, do you know already? Like,
I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah. So the conundrum is this: if the school or university uses devices that are having apps deployed to them through Apple School Manager, Apple School Manager will let you buy books or apps and get them loaded onto these devices, and you buy licenses through it effectively, and then you can distribute them through your devices through the manager, and there's an MDM link there as well. So if you've got, I don't know, 100 devices and 20 licenses for this app, you can choose which devices get to have the license copy.
Right. MDM stands for, I think, Mobile Device Management, where you can like just manage your fleet of iPads or whatever for a school or other organization. If it's an Apple thing, you can also add the A for Apple, so it's MDMA.
You absolutely could do, and honestly, that might be not too bad a route if you want to make some interesting visuals with my app. But anyway, but the conundrum is this: I can put the app there, I think, as it is, but then the app is geared around being freemium, and so then that brings me to, well, okay, how do I give them a version that can be purchased with an educational volume discount? Right, so if you buy over 20 copies...
Also, that doesn't work for in-app purchases?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, come on! Like, how long has this existed? And like, how long has like every single stupid app on the App Store been freemium?
Yes. So I'm trying to work out my route. Like, one obvious route that I can think of without getting too complex in trying to figure out what state anything is in would be to make a new app. To make a new app bundle that is GoVJ EDU, effectively. Probably put something on the app icon so I can distinguish the two quite easily, because that's probably a good idea. And then what I can do is set that up as a brand new app and go straight into the Apple School Manager side of stuff. So the app never appears in the regular App Store, but it is there for schools and educational
so you can make it disappear from the regular App Store, because otherwise I'd just be like, okay, just make a new app that's called GoVJ Lifetime. It costs $80, but if you're a school, you can purchase it for like a lot less or whatever.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing, except that you'll just never see it in the regular App Store. It'll be a case of if somebody ever needs it, yeah. So that's the other thing, though, is they would have to search for GoVJ through Apple School Manager and know it exists.
Tricky.
Yeah. So couple of elements to this. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure out, can I add another target to my project? Can I make a new app bundle and then just upload all the same information as I have today for the regular app? The only thing that will distinguish it will be a different icon for that bundle.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can do that, then I kind of might as well and jump through the review hoops to just make it there and just wait, and hopefully it goes out and Apple don't hold me up too much. And then at least I've got an answer if and when I'm asked for this. And I can signpost this on the website somewhere as well. Educational establishments, click here, and have another landing page that just goes through you've got to search for this in Apple School Manager, but it exists. So that's where I'm at. It feels like perhaps too much effort, but I also am aware that I'm potentially leaving some money on the table in terms of like that volume lifetime purchase. So it's probably worth me doing it, even if I only see one lot of reasonable sales through this every so often.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, as long as it's not too much effort, because I mean, you would have to manage 2 different SKUs, which can get kind of annoying.
Yeah, but I think I can distill it down to just two different bundles, and having to upload the app twice to distribute it.
That can probably be automated if you're into that sort of thing.
Yes, exactly that.
It's annoying that this wouldn't be easier,
Yeah. It feels like, I mean, to me, what I would love it to do would be to say, well, okay, if I want to nominate my app to be in the educational store, can Apple do the plumbing in their system, if you like, that those licenses that they buy there translate into an in-app purchase, right? Let them buy the lifetime in-app purchase. Like, I get that schools and universities probably don't want to get into managing 20 different subscriptions and having some mess there. Yeah. But like, let me sell my lifetime in-app purchase at least. And then when they're licensed and it loads up on that device, I can then use my existing code that restores the user's purchases in a normal way. And then that way I don't have to have this situation, which is just a bit daft. Really.
It is icky. Let's see. I mean, like, I think we haven't seen the last chapter of the Apple versus the EU and the App Store versus the EU chapter. So maybe that is the cattle prod that just like pushes Apple, that prods Apple to go into providing a modern App Store.
Yeah, I'd hope so. I'd really hope so, because I don't think any of the DMA stuff is done yet for Apple.
Probably not. How is your other app, the Switcher app?
Oh, the old Switcheroo.
The Switchy boy.
Damn it, Daniel. So that's in an interesting place. I'm trying to just finish it up for generally that first beta test run. Which would be a big test of like, can I actually sell this thing, or have I just been wasting my time over the last 3 or 4 weeks? But it's going well. The app itself is sort of settled down into most of the UI. I'm pretty happy with. I've got a couple of gnarly little bugs at the moment that I'm trying to figure out before I send it anywhere. So it has a memory leak right now, which is a byproduct of having to work with a C++ SDK and wrap things around it and work with different threads. I've done something wrong in the middle of all of that. I'm definitely holding it wrong in some way. But I can replicate the issue, so I'm probably a weekend away from having that bug nailed, and then after that it's like full steam ahead into test flight, really. So yeah, that's coming together.
I am a weekend away from having that bug nailed.
He said,
I know. I'm looking at my calendar. Like, I'm going to go watch like very fast cars do.
Yes.
And of course, like it's going to be exactly that. Like this thing is going to be done by next week.
Yes, you're going to be stood there, and I'm going to message you, and I'm going, "Are the cars going meow?" Because I've just fixed the bug.
No.
Yes, I shall let you know. We all know what's going to happen this time next week. I'm going to be telling you I'm still chasing this thing down, but hopefully not. Yeah. So anyway, that's where the switchy boy is at, and I'm kind of excited, Daniel, because once I've nailed this bug, I feel like it might help me with some of the other performance issues I've had here or there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping on the other side of this bug hunt, and with a couple of the other controls I've got, this becomes really quite performant. So,
is it like a threading issue, like a concurrency thing?
Yes, but not currently solvable by Swift concurrency and going hard out into that route. Yeah, I need to take a look. I was halfway inside of this the other evening, and one of the memory graphs around this particular object, it was a circle, Daniel. And there were actually enough connected things there to make it look like a circle on the screen.
Oh, wow. Like back in the Objective-C days, we called that a leak.
It's a definite, it's a leak. It's a strong reference somewhere not allowing something to be released. I can almost guarantee I'm going to have to call the NDI SDK somewhere and tell it to destroy something that it's holding on to, like manually. You need to release that damn memory on this thing.
Let it go.
Yeah, just let it go, man. Let it go. You don't need this data anymore. But well, it's part of the job, though, right? And there was no way of me using this SDK without wrapping it up and potentially encountering some of this. So, yeah, but that's where I'm at. Anyway, a bug hunt, and then off to the test flights.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Like, I'm really hoping that you will gain like a huge amount of performance. But I mean, I love those moments when you're like, I now see the bug.
Yes.
And also you suddenly realize, oh, wow, this is maybe connected to another thing that I've been seeing. I love it when that happens. That's perfect. So
yes.
Yeah, I'm really hoping. I'm actually like really cheering you on. Like I was gonna riffing you earlier, but like, please, like I'm really happy for you, and I'm really excited with you actually to be like, oh yeah, like cut the circle, and just make everything faster. It's perfect.
Thank you. And the other thing is it will parlay into development on the VJ app as well, because that has NDI inside of it. I'm actually slightly worried that there's a scenario where you could trigger the same bug in GoVJ to some degree, and I've just not managed to see it before now. But so far hasn't seemed to be there, so that's another angle on this. The way the two apps are using this is just slightly different. But the bonus part here is that once I've got this nailed, and any performance gains that come off the back of doing it better will then be an update away from being inside of the VJ app as well, because they're using the same packages. So as long as I have to be considerate and make sure I don't completely change the wiring, but that should be fine. So yeah, hopefully fixing one app then helps improve the other.
Right.
That's
really
how
nice.
are you?
Oh,
What's
speaking of, by the way,
side? Yeah, go for it.
I have follow up, but I didn't. I forgot to put it in the notes and whatever. The follow up is basically, like last time I talked about this new cable that I wanted to run from the PlayStation to my Pro Display XDR to see if I can use that as a display for the PlayStation. And the follow up so far is I haven't tried it because I was just like on the couch, like with a lot less energy than usual, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna just like untangle the PlayStation from underneath the TV.
No, it can stay there for now.
Right. So like that's a project for later.
Yep.
The other follow up that I wanted to do has to do. I don't know. Did we do this on the show or was it in the pre-show? Like someone complained that my blue microphone cover kind of melted into my beard, and so my beard was less visible. And so what you did was you kind of suggested get an orange one. And then I was like, yeah, but on German Amazon, the orange one is like 35 euros, which is like ludicrous. And then you found a UK website that would send me 5 of them, like one of which was orange, for 5 quid. So I actually did that. So I don't know if you can see that, but I have an orange microphone cover.
Yes.
I also got 4 more covers in very shitty colors, actually. Like whatever. These are not really important. But yeah, that is actually my follow-up.
That's fantastic.
And it looks cool.
And yeah, it does look cool, and it's orange, which is a TelemetryDeck.
It's very on brand.
Color.
It fits with my my wall cover, which is also orange foam, although it's a different color tone, I think. But it's
Oh, I feel like with your bag full of microphone covers that are kind of surplus to requirement, I feel like I'd love to do like a if any listeners want to have one of those, we're doing a giveaway. The logistics of that would be an absolute pain. But
you mean like do you want like a microphone cover in a weird off-brand color? Like,
I'd take the neon yellow myself, Daniel. But again, posting it from all the way where you are to New Zealand feels.
The thing is,
excessive.
that's not. It looks neon yellow because my lamp is kind of like lighting it, but like it's actually just regular yellow. Like
I'm out. I'm out.
Camera doesn't kind of catch it. But it's kind of dirtyish yellow.
You keep it. Yeah. Fair.
But like logistics are so hard. Like Marina, my coworker Marina, recently posted a picture of their TelemetryDeck cup, which we sent to them in Estonia.
Yeah,
and like someone was like, "Oh, this is so cool! Where can I have one? Can I have one?" On Mastodon, and I was like, "How?" And that person was in the US, and like just getting like that stupid cup to the US was so expensive, and so I was like, "Wait, we have a US merch shop now at Cotton Bureau, right?"
Yep.
And so I was like, do they actually print cups? They don't print cups. They print pint glasses. They print these kind of like tumblers, which I assume are like sealable coffee cups. And they have water bottles that they print the logo on, but not regular coffee cups, which is kind of sad.
Oh.
But I kind of enabled all those anyway. Like I'm like, if someone wants a like TelemetryDeck tumbler, they can now order it from Cotton Bureau, and it's like not. It still is kind of expensive, I think, or it feels kind of expensive to me. But I'm just like saying this, like we're not making any profit. Like you can say like you can add your own margin, and I just set that to 0 because I really don't want to pay any more taxes in the US.
Yeah,
except for SaaS products, which are kind of like a specialized category.
Fair.
Speaking of SaaS products, that's actually the thing that I wanted to tell you about.
Go on.
Is I've been working a lot on server orchestration. Like the show notes say Daniel is a conductor, which of course orchestration, but also the server train is leaving the station. Choo choo.
Choo choo. I can't say the thing I was going to say, but yes.
Choo choo, Motherflipper.
Yes, choo choo, rubber ducker.
Right. So anyway, the TelemetryDeck servers, especially the data, like the Druid servers. Oh God, like half of the people are just like reaching for their podcast app and pressing like fast forward 15 times. If you're still here, thank you very much. Anyway, they need to move off of Kubernetes. I think we've talked a lot about this already.
We have a bit, yeah.
And so now the path becomes clear, and the path is basically I want to provision virtual machines using Ansible. Ansible is a tool for server orchestration where you basically write what is kind of a script, but also kind of a functional description of the end state in YAML. and then it gets kind of interpreted by Python, and then it makes there's just a number of servers do that. So I can like give, I don't know, like 20 servers the role of you are now a Druid historical node. And so that it turns out that there are no real good what is called playbooks for hosting Druid, but also especially like for the stuff around it, like the log collection, the like making the cloud provider that we have automatically like start up like new virtual machines, and then also like getting the IPs for those machines and installing like SSH keys so that they can actually be integrated into the whole thing, that kind of stuff. And so I have been like working with that. I kind of had to like, because people ask me like, why are you choosing Ansible instead of like Terraform or Puppet or Chef or whatever? Like these are other tools that kind of do the same ish thing. The answer is because it's open source and free, like some of the others cost money, and also because it's in Python, and also because I tried out a few, and this just felt like the easiest, or it felt the like it kind of fit me the best.
Yep.
But I might totally change. Like I think the knowledge that you gain in like, okay, how do I orchestrate a cluster of a gaggle of druids?
Yep.
It's like there. I think these are probably more or less portable. But yeah, I've been learning that, and then it turns out that also I hit a bug because a good friend of mine, Arno, like he is a server wizard, and he wrote me some of those Ansible scripts or plays, and I didn't understand them. And so I was really stuck. So I actually bought a book. I bought a real life. I went to the website of a local bookstore because I don't want to buy everything off Amazon, and they have like, you can search for only items that are available in the store. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like, they had like 2 Ansible books, one from I don't know the 1500s, but one that was like reasonably new.
Yep.
And so I bought it. I read it cover to cover. It is not the best book. It was in German, which is already a like -1, because like just like reading everything through a translation layer is weird. And like especially computer stuff, like I don't know. But then also like the author had very peculiar ideas. Like I'm like, how do I do Ansible inventory management with cloud providers, which is something that people will inevitably come up to if they are actually using Ansible in production. And this guy spends 3/4 of the book just on like, okay, so we have our own private Linux machine, but we can have a VM, and then just play around with this stuff. And then he plays around with like, and then he has like a chapter on how to author your README files. And then he has a chapter on like, oh, but we could also try out like reorganizing our stuff because it fits on our single like system better. And I'm not on a single system. Like I want to use this in production. And then I don't know, like I'm like 3/4 of the book, and finally the chapter comes that I've been waiting for, because that's the thing I'm like, okay, that's the thing I'm really not grokking. And that chapter is like 5 pages long.
Wow. Yeah.
And in the end, it turns out that the problem was I didn't have a Python package installed that like was compatible with the Azure CLI whatever thingy. Right. So that was my actual problem. I did understand everything, but now I understand it slightly better because of the book. So thank you, book.
For those 5 pages. It's sometimes like that.
Like, yeah, but also like I read through the whole book. It was really quick because I understood most of the concepts already. And so I like, but it like kind of firmed up my understanding. So that's kind of helpful. Even though, I don't know, like, and I got to do something different, which was also nice. Like not only sitting in front of the computer, but also like sitting on the balcony reading the book. So that was okay.
Well, that's decent. Did you? I want to ask: was this something you could have asked of, say, a GPT-based tool? Could you have gotten an answer from that?
No. Like,
no.
Or I don't think so, to be fair. Because it is like, so this individual problem was actually like very hard to debug. And B, I think I could probably get a GPT-based tool, let's say ChatGPT. I probably could make it give me a good starting point, you know? But then, like, I know from like using Copilot, for example, I would kind of need to improve the solution that it gave me with the knowledge that I have. So if I have a lot of domain knowledge, then I can really get the boilerplate out of Copilot, for example, and then improve the stuff. Like, actually, I'm using like everything that I'm writing in Visual Studio Code, which is everything except Swift, automatically has Copilot. So like I actually have Copilot auto completion on in VS Code while writing these YAML files, and it will oftentimes like try to pre-populate the next step. And like most of the time it's like, oh yeah, this is actually a good starting point, but this needs to be different and this needs to be different, and then also I need to like switch these things up or whatever. So yeah, I think, and I feel like I don't understand enough to understand all the implications of that the tool will give me. But hang on, like, write an Ansible play that deploys a Druid cluster. Like, I mean, come on. That is, that's 4.0. Which one is better, 4.0 or 4.0?
I have no idea, to be fair.
Okay, this is actually not bad. Like, this is very similar to what I did.
But you're assessing this with the knowledge you now have, rather than where you were.
It is. It will completely fork will completely destroy the system because it writes everything on the main partition, and the data is just too much. And I think there's also an open SSH port somewhere, but it's not bad. Like, I mean, this is a probably good starting point. Like, I still feel like in this case it was better writing this by hand. Because especially like wrangling those druids, like this is also a topic for, like, there has been a topic for the last 17 years, of course, but like there's so many like very finely like fine like variables and like knobs to tune, basically, that that ChatGPT or another like generator-based like AI will not be able to like finely tune, because it will just like take whatever Stack Overflow said. So the whole goal is to get this running, and in beta at least, and then start tuning and be like, okay, let me throw a few terabytes of data on this system and then see what knobs I can tweak, settings I can tweak to improve performance and stuff like that. Can I make it crash? Like, can I make it run out of memory, which is a thing apparently.
Yeah. Can you throw it at the same sort of load or issues you've had with the Kubernetes setup?
Right.
And start to see whether you've improved beyond what that was doing.
Exactly.
I don't have enough domain knowledge to know whether you've kind of proved that out of the gates just by what it does, but like, it sort of feels like you should be able to compare before and after.
Not completely like immediately, but I have like a list of like, I don't know, 5 things that I can make it do that will immediately see like, okay, if this works, then we have a big success already. And so far, like the tests that I've run, like some of them actually, like I actually made them crash. So now I have like things to evaluate more. So
that's cool.
Basically, the status is all the provisioning works, but what doesn't work is the automatic inventory management. So that means like if I just like create 5 VMs by hand, then I can make them into a Druid cluster and that works. But I want to be able to be like, device, spin up 5 or 15 new machines and then make them into a Druid cluster.
Got it.
Because it needs to be orchestrated, infrastructure as code, you know?
Yep. No, that's brilliant.
At some point, I want to be able to hire a sysadmin and or DevOps person. And at that point, I want to be able to hand them something that is reasonably usable. by a professional.
That's awesome. And I'm from the sounds of everything you've just said to me, it sounds like you are one more weekend away from having some of these things nailed.
It feels more like 2 weeks, or at least 5 like person days, or something like that. Which I'm not getting like full person days to put into this project, of course, but at the same time, I really, really want to change something, because we are like, our growth speed has increased again by another order of magnitude in the last few months. And like the existing servers are just like creaking along, and like we need something better.
Oh, that's I'm looking forward to hearing where this lands. And I think I'm trying to deliberately engineer here a point where I can check in on you and go, "Hey Daniel, how's that bug working out?" Return fire.
I'll report back.
Yeah, no worries. I'm not going to hassle you for it while you're watching cars go meow, though, Daniel. I think we'll call back on this in another couple of weeks.
Right. I have one more thing to tell you. I'm gonna make it quick, which is another thing that I've been working on, which is I finished working on the website. I think I told you about this.
Yes.
Like, not all the content is written, but I'm kind of handing that off to my coworkers. But all the technology for like the CMS stuff is all done, so like we can reasonably create like very different landing pages, and are continuing to do so. And that's actually really helpful for our Google juice and search engine juice in general, and that actually improves conversions right now. But then I kind of found myself with the thought, like, I need to work on the servers, but I also kind of need to wait a few days for Arno to finish his part of the Ansible stuff. And I was like, and I'm all full of like HTML and stuff. Like, what can I do actually? And I have had with me this concept of how the TelemetryDeck UI could look like and could be improved for a long while now. And so I was like, let's see how far I can actually get into implementing this, because like it is all documented in our internal repositories already. Like, it was more of a case of implementing this and not of like thinking about how it does. And I'm kind of done. Like, I haven't pushed it to live yet.
Yeah.
But I have a complete, complete like prototype running on a separate server. Actually, I can show you this, because this is actually public. Hang on.
Okay. We're going for a screen share?
The one. Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna put it into the show notes. Okay. Here we go. But also, I can screen share for a few minutes.
Go for it.
I'm gonna switch it to the different browser. Like, so what we do is, like, if I create a pull request in, let me just sign in before I screen share. If I do a pull request with the front end, then it will automatically generate a separate environment that will like host that thing. So that is actually what I'm doing. So here we go. This is new. So this is the list of your apps. I was going for these little spark lines, because I kind of like spark lines. Also, if I refresh this, then they will animate. They will also say something went wrong, which is kind of not what I want, but okay, that works. And then also, when I go into one of those, I will now have a tab-based user interface. So what does it mean? I have like on the top, I have this header bar that is just like, what app am I looking at? What time frame am I looking at? Also, like, who am I actually? Then I just see the name of the app, because this is actually what I want. And then underneath, I have tabs for the different types of data that we can look at, or the different types of interactions that I can have with this app. Of course, I still have my dashboards. They are in one of the tabs, but also I got a tab for settings. I got a tab for overview. I got a tab for explore, which includes which has the signal types, the payload keys, the playground, that kind of stuff. And what I like about this is that it's very hierarchical, and we can have like a more or less sane hierarchy of data, basically.
Got it.
I also
So it
had
lets
some
you
space.
add more things where it's appropriate to add more things.
Like I have a users tab here, and that only includes the new revenue/sales feature, which is not implemented in the app that I'm showing right now. So this only has empty data. But basically, you can send whenever you make a sale, you can send that data to TelemetryDeck, and will like give you a good estimation about like how much revenue you're making. This is especially cool because if you're using iOS and or the Google Play Store, they will usually report your sales a few days after the fact. So if you want up-to-date data, this is a good way to get at least an estimation really, really like in real time.
That's awesome.
But as you see, like that's the only entry in that users menu right now. But of course, I want to have more there. Like the goal here really is to have the whole pirate framework. So acquisition, activation, retention, referral, and revenue in there. And like have and have just like have like pre-made charts here, because these are metrics that many people will actually need. So why not have a space here? And why force everyone to create their dashboards for this kind of stuff? Like people, like you can still like get all your custom queries in there, but like if you can actually have less, like have the same data with less work, that's actually really, really cool.
Yeah,
also that the chart's a bit thicker.
Nice.
And I'm playing with improving the tooltips. Oh, this one isn't improved yet, but if you look here, for example, look at the tooltip. It actually is more readable now. Yeah. And also like we have like in the top bar, I'm actually saying I'm trying to preview various things immediately. Like this app here has 106 users. It's using Swift SDK 2.0. It has $0 revenue because the revenue was not set up. It also has 0 errors because error tracking is not set up in this version of in this app as well. Yeah. Like we have error tracking now. I don't know if I told you
this. That's cool. No, I was unaware of this.
It's very, very basic. Like you just like there's a convenience method in the SDK that just like is like, hey, an error just occurred. Here's the error message. And then it will just like try to just like collect those. So this is not exception tracking. Like this does not look at crashes, or it is exception tracking, but it doesn't look at crashes. It doesn't look at like a list of like a stack trace or whatever. This is just like like this user defined exception occurred, and I'm catching it and telling you about it.
Fair. Yep.
So it's already kind of helpful. So
yeah,
that's just why we're having it here, and then we can like make more in the future. Yeah. So this is almost finished, but I'm kind of hesitant to just put it on just put it online, because I don't know, like I want it to be good and not be like a meaningless change. So I've actually put that link that I put already shown. I put that on social media already.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting for someone to give negative feedback, because most people were like, "Oh yeah, this is cool. Change this, please." So actually, I think I'm gonna just put it live next week.
Ship it. Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I can see instantly how that makes more use for me. Like just being able to flick between the apps from the top bar in the tabbed navigation. If that's leaving me sat in the same sub detail of the other app, if I can just flick from one of my apps.
Oh, that's actually not the case, because that used to be the case.
Okay.
But it turns out that this kind of breaks all the URLs. So my recommendation is just keep bookmarks or whatever, or keep multiple tabs open, because like that was actually a thing that the previous version had, and I kind of removed that because it makes it kind of impossible to link to a different tab, like from a message or whatever, because the system has to keep track of, where are you actually? So
yeah, it stops being so you stop ending up with that sort of sub view bit working properly, and it kind of couples everything more tightly, I guess. But fair enough. But it's looking awesome. It's certainly looking like something I want to be using. So despite that, I'm team ship it.
It is slightly increasing the number of clicks you need to see different information, but at the same time, I think the information is presented better, and it allows. It's a good framework to add more.
That's cool. That's really cool. I've got a similar set of concerns, I guess, turning up within my apps at the moment for configurations and settings menus. I currently feel like that user story, for want of a better phrase, for GoVJ is a bit messy, and it's then something I'm coming up against with the Switcheroo, the other app. At the moment, I'm just sort of rolling with what I've got, but there's a hanging task there for me at some point in the next few months to go, oh, okay, I need to go and revise how that works, because as I add new settings, it's adding extra into an area that's currently buried down in the main settings menu. So you have to go settings, and then there's like a general settings rather than specific ones. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, you can find the things, but it's really not what I want longer term. So anyway, that could be a whole other show, and we do need to wrap this show. But there's a hanging task, if you like, there for me to improve that. And similar to the problems you're solving with this is, you've got a lot of information. You need to split it up in a way that's useful to the user and is accessible as well. Like, it's no good having all this stuff, but it's buried like 10 clicks down and to the left and then to the right. And, nobody ever really sees that end of the tree, if you like. Anyway, not quite the same, but similar set of problems, I think. And I'm going to have to give it some love at some point.
Give it some love.
But anyways, Daniel, I need to go. I think you need to wind down.
I'm gonna have to get up early tomorrow, finish packing.
Yes.
And then sit around for a while before I head off to the airport. Maybe I'll even do some work. I think I'll try.
No, enjoy the trip.
Anyway, I still haven't decided whether I'm taking the laptop. I'm like 50-50. I'll see you tomorrow.
Fair.
Anyway, thanks so much for listening. Please rate us on iTunes and YouTube. Send us emails to contact@waitingforreview.com, or just write in the comments down below. Also, Dave, tell me, where can people find you and your projects?
You can find me over at dave@social.lightbeamapps.com on the Mastodons. And you can find out all about my apps at lightbeamapps.com.
Fantastic. All right, find me at Daniel at social.telemetrydeck.com. Also go to telemetrydeck.com and look at the fantastic design. And also, if you like this show and you want to interact with us more, you should really join our Discord.
Yes.
We're linking it in the show notes, I hope.
That's right. Yep.
But we have a Discord channel where we just hang out with our like-minded indie devs and nerds and stuff like that. And what we do there is we complain about WWDC, we complain about all kinds of stuff. We complain about Docker and Kubernetes. I don't know. Just come join us. It's actually really nice. And say
it is.
All right.
Yes.
Dave, have a fantastic day and see you soon.
Take care, Daniel.
Bye.